Hello and welcome to Wasted Youth. My name is Gar, and for as long as I can remember, I've been a collector. I've collected everything: comic books, action figures, statues, vinyl, records, cassettes, stickers, cards, games, video games, DVDs, Blu-rays, VHS tapes, you name it. I probably got some somewhere. I probably slowed down a little bit as I got older, but the urge is still there. So what have I got? Let's have a look. Welcome to Wasted Youth. This week, on our first ever episode, we're going to be talking about a character that I've always loved, that I've always followed since the day it was introduced. And it's a character called Azrael, which came from Batman. So it was first introduced in Batman, a comic book called The Sword of Azrael, which came out in 1992. I can actually show you. This is what the cover looked like. This is the cover to issue 1. It's also the cover to the trade paperback. I don't know if it ever got a hardback version of it. I actually have every single issue of it in single issue, and I have every single trade pretty much that Azrael's ever been in. And for some reason, I can only find one right now in real life. I can only find one, so I don't know what's going on. But I have most of my Azrael stuff here, littered around. As you know from the intro, I'm a guy who just collected too much in his life. I spent too much money. I filled every home I've ever been in with junk, but I love it, and I don't know what to do with it. It just sits in tubs, it sits in boxes, it sits in shelves. I don't know what to do with it. So Azrael was created by Joe Quesada, Denny O'Neil, Peter Milligan, and apparently Grant Morrison was involved as well. I didn't know anything about Grant Morrison until this week. There's a couple of different iterations of Azrael. The one we're going to be talking about is the Jean Paul Valley version of Azrael. He's the original one. It's the one that I really care about. The rest of them are so-so. There was Azrael's in the Gotham City or Arkham City video games. There was another guy who jumped in. What was his name? I'll remember his name now in a second. So another guy who kind of came in after Jean Paul Valley was supposed to have died, and Michael Washington Lane, his name was. I actually have. That's Michael Washington Lane right there. It's not very good. They done nothing for me. So after Sword of Azrael came out, the character took off in a big way and became a massive influence in the entire Batman community and the entire Batman story. Eventually ended up with his own single issue series, which is just Azrael, and it wasn't drawn by Joe Quesada anymore, which is kind of hurt. It was Barry Kitson, who done a very, very good job. Barry Kitson done a great job, and this ran for a long, long time. I have every single one of these as well. Every single one of them, including annuals and specials and you name it. There's actually a guy in here I want to talk about as well in a few minutes. But let's go to the toys. That's what we're here to look at. This is what I spent most of my money on. Action figures, comic books, models, statues, you name it. I've spent too much money on it. So we're going to go straight to the toys, and let's have a look at the first Azrael toy I have here. So this here is 2006's DC Superheroes line, Series 3. Mattel made it. It's a really nice action figure, actually. It's really cool. If I can get the camera to focus, it'll be even cooler. This suffers an awful lot from... It kind of has wonky legs. So trying to get him to stand is incredibly difficult. And this is one of the things you'll hear people talk about, that he has this kind of hunchback, as you can see there. He's really difficult to get to stand up properly. He's well painted, but he kind of has... Whichever way they've done... as you can see, the cape is really, really cool. But he never, even from day one, out of the box, his legs were always loose. Now, I don't know whether I just got, a bad one. But, he does the splits for some reason, and he's starting to fall apart here. It's just, the bottom half of him just wasn't very sturdy. And you'll see a lot of people talking about this action figure online, and they'll say the exact same thing, that it just doesn't, well, it looks cool. Like the gloves, the arms, everything is the right perspective. His face looks cool. It's been painted well. It looks right. He just doesn't. There you go. What do you want? You know what I mean? This was the first one that I seen that I really, really liked. There was one before it. One before from 1998. from a series called Batman Night Force Ninjas or something by Kenner. And it's not a great looking Azrael, but it was the first proper action figure. And I just haven't pulled the trigger on buying one yet, to be honest. I just haven't bought it. Now, one of the coolest things I have in my entire toy collection is related to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw him down there. I'm going to pull in the coolest thing I think I have. I bought this on eBay. This is a prototype for this. So they're identical in every way, shape and form, as you can see. Absolutely identical. But this guy, as you can see, is made out of a bunch of different coloured plastics. So he would have been made after the initial sculpt when they were kind of testing out plastics to see what works. This guy's actually in, like, his legs are slightly better, like ever so slightly better. But he suffers from the same thing here, that kind of crotch rot, where when you try to give him the splits, this thing breaks apart. So it is, like, it's a problem that's been there from day one. Let's see, I'll spin him around. As you can see, this guy spent a lot of time in a tub or in a box. He's made of different plastic. This is a much harder plastic than this. This is more rubber. It's much lighter. Like, you can lift him up like this. This guy, he stays, as you can see. So it's a different type of plastic completely. But I've only ever seen one more of these on the internet. I don't know how many more of these that they made. I have no idea how much I paid for this. If I had to guess, I think when I bought this originally, this probably cost like maybe 20 euros. Maybe 20 euros. When I bought this, and I think I bought this before this guy, I'm pretty sure, but I think I probably paid about 100 euros for him, because every now and again you get these prototypes that pop up online, these unpainted prototypes. Sometimes you'll see the ones that are, have different kind of paint jobs or whatever, but he's identical. Every single thing on him moves the exact same as him, but it's just cool to have them together. These guys have been in, well, if this came out in 2006, I probably got him maybe in late 2005, maybe around about that time anyway. What else have we got? We have some cool stuff here. What else we got? Okay, so you've seen the cover, Sword of Azrael. You've seen the single issues. You've seen the Michael Washington comic. What else have we got here that's Azrael related? Because I'm sure there's a bunch. As I said, there was a Kenner one that I missed out on. Maybe the completest in me will make me buy that at some stage. I have this cool thing here, actually. Look at this. I don't know what this is. It's an Azrael, but it's really small, and it's kind of like a rubbery kind of plastic. I have no idea what it is. I honest to God have no idea. It's so strange. It doesn't move, but he has underneath, you can see here, you got 3 kind of peg holes. So I think he's supposed to sit on something. I couldn't find any reference to this guy online. If somebody knows what this is, I would much appreciate somebody telling me what the hell is this thing, or what it came from. I think this came from maybe an egg or one of those. I probably got this in America, and I have a feeling that it came in like one of those kind of plastic orbs or something that you put $2 into outside a mall or something. I just seen it and I pumped money into it until I got it. That's what I think. And what else we got here? We got something. We have a Hero Clicks, an Azrael Hero Clicks model. I have never played a game of Hero Clicks in my life, nor am I going to. I'm not going to lie to you. I've never played it. I'm never going to either. But I seen it. Apparently there's like 3 or 4 Hero Clicks Azraels. Now, I'm not so bad that I'm going to go looking for Hero Click Azraels. But if they pop up, I'll get them. So, I've got 2 more action figures related to Azrael that I want to show. One is pretty old, actually. One's pretty old. I'm going to sit him down here. We don't go for that fancy big time editing here at Wasted Youth. We do as much on the fly as possible. We keep it fairly standard. So I want to show you this guy here. So this here is a weird one. This is the Knight's End Azrael Batman. from the Kenner Legends of Batman Series 2 in 1995. And this, okay, so without getting too super nerdy, this works as well, by the way, his little shooter. It works, still have everything. The cape comes off. So the whole idea was that when Bruce Wayne was defeated by Bane, he had to go and whatever, get better and get his back fixed and all this type of malarkey. And he asked John Paul Valley, would he step in to be Batman for a while? And it was fine for a while, and then he started going a bit crazy because of his training kicked in. So he created this modified Batman suit, which, as you can see underneath, it has kind of very similar kind of details to the Azrael suit, this kind of top half armor. And after a while, he defeated Bane. Bruce Wayne comes back, and Azrael and Bruce Wayne, or John Paul Valley and Bruce Wayne, have to fight to see who's going to continue being the Batman. Now, there's a bunch of these, bunch of those figures. That is probably the most popular version of John Paul Valley or Azrael, to the point where they would call that Azbat. Now, there's maybe 2 or 3 different versions of that armor, and then I think there's a red and yellow one and a red and blue one. There's a bunch of them. There's one that fires shurikens out of its gauntlets. I have one of those. I had one somewhere, but I'm going to show you what he looked like here. This is what he looked like here. This is what you'll see one new toy here on the right hand side, which is the whatever Wave 16 figure 6 from the DC universe. You're going to find probably 20 to 30 Azrael Batman action figures out there. I have one. I think I have the first one from 1995, from the Night's End comic book series, which again I own and can't find right now. So listen, what am I going to do? On the left, you'll see the comic book version of the armor. It's very, very popular. Very, very popular. It's just the way it is. There's a bunch of them. Now, the last thing I want to show you before we get out of here, because I could probably talk about Azrael stuff all night, but I don't want to. And there's probably about 6 other people in the entire world that actually care about Azrael as much as me. And that is this one that I'm going to move in front of the camera right now. This is the big boy. Let's take Azrael Batman's thing and put it back in. I probably shouldn't leave it in there because it keeps the spring, I would assume it keeps the spring ready to go. But that's a good one. One of the things I wanted to try and talk about is where I got these guys from. So him, I'm almost certain that when I was 1995, I would have been, 14 or 15. And I was with an uncle of mine who had to go into like a wholesaler. So we're a store or a restaurant buys all of its goods for cheaper. And like a Costco in the States, or we'd have like Musgraves in Ireland. And I remember going in with him, and they had everything. They had stuff for toy shops, they had stuff for comic book shops. I didn't know that this was the case. I thought you just bought 17,000 slices of bread and 100,000 slices of cheese. That's honest to God, that's what I thought the wholesaler was for. And I went to the toy section, and this was sitting there on a shelf, looking at me. And he had said to me, like, pick out something that you want. And me being 14, seeing this, and having just read Night's End, being obsessed with this character, saw it looking at me. And I remember my uncle, he was rich is probably the word. He was rich. It didn't matter to him. And I picked up this one action figure and I went over and I said, I want this. And he said, is that all? And I was like, yeah, like no one else has ever bought me anything like this. You're mad. And I think his kids would ask for like a swimming pool or a motorbike. And I asked for this action figure that he probably paid €8 for. And this is pre-Euro, so it's probably £8. And I still have them. Original one since 1995. As with everything, I cursed myself that I took it out of the box. But, I was 14 years of age. What do you want from me? Next and last action figure is something that just came out this year. I'm going to jump to it straight away here. So this is the DC Multiverse Azrael. This obviously is staying in the box because I learned my lesson as a child. And this is John Paul Valley. He's back again. And this is taken from, it's a bit dusty on top actually. It's brand new. Weird. Okay. That's probably box dust, I would assume. Box dust. And This is John Paul Valley as Azrael, as you can see. He's back from a series of comic books called Curse of the White Knight, which I read, and it's excellent. It's the first comic book I've read in years, and of course I had to read it because it was Azrael, and he's my boy. I have very few characters that I feel that attached to in my life, to be honest with you. There's a couple, and I'm going to try and get through as many of them as possible in this series of videos. But it's close enough. He doesn't have the gauntlet swords. He just has one massive sword. And in the comic books, that was a holdover from his father. His father had this giant sword that went on fire as well. And the armor it's close enough. It's a good modern take on it. I like the fact they left the big tassels on the back. That makes absolutely no sense, but it's cool looking. So I'm alright with that as well. So that is the last Azrael figure I have. If more come out, I will absolutely buy them. I'm not going to lie to you. I spent, I think they're €30. I think it's €30. They probably still sell for €30. Because one of the things I want to do in this series is I want to, I want to see what did I spend on them, and are they worth anything now? Now, there's a difference between being worth something and selling it, because you got to find someone to sell it for. Now, apparently these guys, as I showed you earlier, these 2006 guys, like I said, I probably paid 20, 18. I don't even know how much I paid for it. I think these guys loose go for like, on eBay is not a great indicator, but I've seen them go for $50, $60. Apparently they're a little bit hard to find. I wish I kept the box off this. I was old enough to know better. This guy here obviously didn't come in a box. He came in a padded envelope. He came in a jiffy bag, and he's starting to get a bit discoloured. The plastic is obviously reacting to something else. But this is one of my prized possessions, and I keep throwing it around anyway, but whatever. I want help with this. This is the one to help me with. If we've got an Azrael fanatic out there, tell me, please tell me what this is and where it came from. I can't find anything about it online. And if you know somebody selling, I said I wasn't going to buy them, but I will. If you know somebody selling those hero clicks cheap, please let me know. Maybe I'll buy them just to complete them. Anyway, that's it for this week. Like, subscribe, tell your mates. We're going to do bunches of these videos across everything I've been wasting my money on for my entire life. Thank you.